We're going to talk about your GPS. This is not the GPS in your car, although I have to have mine. How many out there have to have the blue dot? I didn't come from the time when all that started. I actually had to print out my instructions and actually learn how to read a map. That was a nightmare. I was so thankful when the GPS came out because I like my blue dot. So if I get turned around, it always redirects me and reroutes me to where I need to be. No more getting lost in the country trying to figure out the back roads and where I'm at. I love my GPS. We're going to talk about a different type of GPS system. This is the God positioning system. Are you in position and connected to your GPS? Are you connected to it? Are you in connection with God and in His positioning system to move to where He's called you to move to? How do you do that? How do you connect? 3 positions people find themselves in many times. Number 1, they may be overconfident, motivated by pride, self-motivated, we might even call that. The mentality of, I don't need anyone. We always hear that men don't like to ask for directions, right? They'll drive around lost for 30 minutes before they'll stop and ask for directions, right? All you men say, yes, you know I'm right. Women, on the other hand, there's a gas station, I'll run in there and I'll ask. Many times, though, overconfident is a position we find ourselves in where we don't need anybody else. We can find the way ourselves. We don't need any help. We are a solo person. We can handle this on our own. What does that usually lead to? Exhaustion, right? The multitasking that one person takes on themselves can be overwhelming, trying to do everything themselves. We hear it said, if I want to get the job done right, I'll do it myself. But that creates exhaustion. Overconfidence. Another position, underconfident. This can be a codependent person. They're people dependent. They have the mentality, I can't do anything unless somebody helps me. I don't know what to do. I need advice. I need help. I need somebody else. So we have that underconfidence level that says, I can't even think for myself. I have to have my cheerleading team. I have to have those push me forward. Sometimes that person might even say, it never changes. It's always like this. It's never going to change. They're underconfident. They don't believe they're ever going to get to their destination without the help of other people. And the third position, and this is the position we want to find ourselves in. This is our GPS, and this is being God confident. This is humility ruled, where we're humble enough to realize we can't do it all on our own. We need God's help. We need the help of other people, yes, but we need God's help more than any. We believe that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and we know that He knows the way to the destination that He wants us to arrive at. Once we're positioned mentally, pushing start is acting on what you believe, not what you see. Many times when you take off down that road and you step out, you can look at that wide open road, but if you don't move and you just sit there in your car, you're not going to get anywhere. You got to push start, and you got to step out in faith, moving forward, even though you don't even see where you're headed necessarily. You may not even see all the roads mapped out for you, but you have to push start, and that means you step out in faith on what you can't see, knowing that that road is going to open before you. It's got to be faith out front. You will never arrive physically to a place you won't first in your mind arrive. Okay, let me say that again. You will never physically arrive to the place you want until your mind arrives there first. Again, your mind has the power to position you and to move you into that GPS setting, where your God positioning setting, where you are moving forward with the direction that He's called you into. Pushing start is giving God the go-ahead to open those opportunities and lead you to your destination. Think about your car for a minute. If you're sitting there with your GPS turned on, you've punched in the address, you've got it all ready to go. It's told you how many miles. It's showed you where that destination's going to be. You're ready. You've got the address and everything punched in, but you don't push start. Are you going to know where the next turn is? Are you going to know where the next road is? Are you going to know where to go? You're just basically going to be idly wandering around in circles, not knowing where to go next. Probably not arriving at your destination. It's the same thing with God. We have to position ourselves mentally so that we can arrive physically to the destination He has for us. Here's some facts for you. There is a destination. There is a place where purpose meets provision. There's already a planned destination of where God has for you. He has a purpose, individual purpose for you. He planned it long before you were ever even born. He knew where He wanted you to be. He had a destination in mind for you. Fact 1. Fact 2. It may lead through incomplete roads. Has your GPS ever told you that? May lead through incomplete roads? Well, let me assure you that favor will find you. You're not going to be lost when you're on that incomplete road. This is the place where your faith must increase to follow on blindly. This is the place where you know the last direction it said to go was straight on that road. So you keep following that road until it catches up to where the road meets back together again. There may be a place where you don't hear God saying anything in your life. The last direction He gave you is the direction you continue to follow in, even though you may not hear anything on that incomplete road. It may lead to rest stops. Fact number 3. These are required rest stops or pit stops where God works on you. God may say, you know what? It's time for a rest stop. It's time we sit back and we work on you a little bit. I can't keep traveling on this road with you until we work some things out, until I help you to adjust some things in your life, because you're not going to be ready for your destination if I haven't helped you through these things right here, right now, right where you're at. So God does require pit stops. Sometimes things happen in our life that we don't expect that put us in a position where we have no choice but to rest. It might be something physical. Not too long ago, I actually had shoulder surgery. And when I had that shoulder surgery, I had messed up my knee at the same time. So it was pretty interesting and pretty discouraging all at the same time. It was a required rest stop for me. It wasn't one I wanted, believe me. I wanted to move forward. I'm not a sit still, do nothing kind of person. But this was a place where I had nothing to do and no choice but to rest. I had to rest. I couldn't move forward. I couldn't go anywhere from there. Even though I had a million things on my plate, a million things on my agenda, I had destinations I wanted to reach, things I wanted to go do, jobs I wanted to finish, I couldn't do it. It was a required rest stop. Physically, my body could not go. God required me to rest. There was a reason for that rest. What did I learn during that rest? What did you learn during that rest time when you were in that place? What did God show you? What did He teach you? There were things He taught me about myself, things that I had to let go of, some of the control in my own life. And I had to realize, okay, Lord, you know when you want me to get there. You know how you want me to get there. And this is a required place that I need to be right now to listen to you. So if you're in that place right now, I want to encourage you to look at that rest stop as needed rest. Don't look at it as punishment or delay for your journey and your destiny. Fact number 4, traffic affects the time of arrival. Some distractions cause you to drive slower. There's distractions that the enemy throws in our path and throws in our lives that cause us to drive slower. We don't have that drive towards our destination because we're sitting back over here being delayed by the traffic that we're in. Somebody's getting that message of who are you with? Who are you hanging around with? What type of situation are you in that might be pulling you back instead of pushing you on, or maybe slowing down your progress to the destination you're wanting to really reach. Fact number 5, Wrong turns do not change the destination, only delay it. Requires a rerouting. Think about your GPS. When you have to hit, you don't even have to hit rerouting on these new ones today. Basically, you make a wrong turn, it just reroutes. It says rerouting. And it catches you right back up with where you need to be. That's what God will do for you. He is your God positioning system, your GPS. When you don't know, and you've taken a wrong turn, and you're like, oh, where am I at? Where do I go now? He reroutes you. It says the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. He will reroute you and put you right back on the path you need to be on. Fact number 6. When disaster strikes, direction is often challenged and confusion can take over. I'm reminded of a situation after Hurricane Irma came through. There was a man that was at the gas station, and as a matter of fact, there were lots of people at the gas station. Everybody was trying to fill up. It was crazy. The cars were backed up 3, 4, 5 deep. And there was one elderly gentleman, and we were waiting in line, and he was just so, you could tell he was just overwhelmed. You could just see it on his face. Disaster had struck. They were trying to get back to their home, to see if their home was there and all that was going on. He was so preoccupied with the disaster that he grabbed the diesel pump to actually put diesel in his gasoline car. And we were able to stop him and catch him before he did this. And he was just like, wow, I can't even believe I did that. Sometimes in life, when a disaster happens, we lose our focus. When disaster strikes, we get confused. We don't know which way to turn. We don't know which way to go. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know which ends up. Exhaustion sets in. Direction is completely hindered. And that's a fact. That's a fact. We have to rely on our GPS, our God positioning system, to help us when disaster strikes, because it's going to. When you're on the road of life, you're going to have disaster strike. You're going to have to rely on that GPS system and rely on God to help you make wise decisions in the middle of disastrous circumstances. So a question: are you traveling the same road with no end in sight? Sometimes we are. We're traveling that same road over and over and over, and we see no end in sight, and we wonder, is my life ever going to change? Am I ever going to get out of this? Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your plans unto the Lord. He will cause your thoughts to become agreeable to His will, so that your plans be established and succeed. We don't always hear on those incomplete roads, thus saith the Lord, turn here, go here, do this, do that, this will happen. But when we commit the plan and say, Lord, this is the road I'm going to take, we commit it to Him and allow Him to direct us, He will cause our thoughts to line up with the road that He wants us to be on. So when you start to change in your thought pattern, you know, because you've committed that to Him, that you're on the right road. So that's a promise from Him in Proverbs 16:3. So shifting mentally will often align you physically on the road to success. Another question: does the idea of change chain you to a regimen of repetition? Does the idea of change chain you to a regimen of repetition? Fear sets in. Fear of change. I know this well. I know this job well. I know this situation well. I know this lifestyle well. I know how to react in it. I don't like this situation. I don't like this job. I don't like where I'm at. But you know what? I know where I'm at. So I'm not going to try and go anywhere else. I'm not going to venture down another road. So does that fear, that idea of change, chain you to that regimen of repetition? It's kind of like revving your engine in neutral. When you do that, you're very frustrated. You're ready to go. You're revving your engine. You're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. I want to go somewhere else. I want to do something else. I want to move on. But you're just revving that engine and you never push start. You never move forward because you're fearful of that change. Fear is not of God. False evidence appearing real. Most of the time, the things we fear don't happen. Fear keeps us in one place. Fear keeps us, I might even say, from the favor that we could experience down another road. We have to step out and push start. So do you want to win? Winning is willfully deciding to live above your feelings and your circumstances. So finally, change awaits those who accept the challenge to believe. Change awaits you if you will accept the challenge to push start and go down the road that God wants to position you on. Push start and experience all God has for you.